What's up, boys? Road to Lamborghini, episode 45. Let's get into today's episode. Today, I'm going to be talking about becoming a man. By the way, take a peek at that beautiful bumperclap background. Take a peek at this bowl full of blueberries and flipping raspberries. Take a look at these bumperclap, whatever they're called. Right, now take a look at this. You know what I'm saying? We got chocolate swirl, we got a mini... Is that chocolate or Skorica? I don't even know. We got a pan au chocolat. We got a bumperclap, big roll. I don't even know what they're called in English. Anyway, we're here in Slovakia for a football game tonight. Heading back not tomorrow, not on Saturday, but on Sunday. So we got a couple nights here. Just arrived yesterday. Had to catch up on some sleep because I wasn't feeling good. I literally got 2 hours sleep. So let's get into it, right? I'm going to talk about becoming a man and being a man. Not even becoming, being a man. As a man, right, it is your responsibility to look after the people around you. And that is a beautiful gift that Jesus has given us, right? And when I say look after, people see this as like, by the way, I completely missed. Hopefully you guys didn't see that. You guys see that bumper clap? Look at that. You literally tap it once, comes out. Tap it again, tap it again, stays in. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Jesus has given us this beautiful gift to, as men of God, right, or men of Christ, to be able to look after and have that responsibility and put that on our shoulders that we should look after the people around us. Right now, I'm going to talk about what you should do, how you should look after people around you, and who you should look after, okay? So firstly, how you should look after. When I say look after, I don't even just mean physically, right? I'm not saying, obviously if something happens in the street and me and my fiance are walking down, that guy's dying, right? Sorry, okay, maybe I shouldn't say that on YouTube. But of course, I am gonna protect, of course, that's obvious, right? If you're not doing that if you don't even have that in your head in your relationship, you're actually messed up. Well, no, actually it's 50-50, we're both gonna, sorry? Did you say you were a man or did you say you were gay? All right, so let's get into it, right? Sorry. Okay, YouTube don't censor me. So let's get back into it, right? So you, physically, right? Financially, 100%. No, and by the way, this isn't just talking about relationships. This is talking about the people you love, people around you, right? And I'll talk about who I'm exactly referring to, right? So financially, you have to be at least bare minimum really striving towards it. If right now you're anywhere over the age of, I'd even say 16, maybe that's harsh, but I'd even say 16, and you're not at least trying to look after the people around you, you are messing up. And if you're over 18 or over 20 and you're not looking after the people around you, you're not giving money, and I'm not saying you have to pay for every little thing, but you should be, right? That should be your goal. But I'm not saying you have to, right? You should, but brackets, you should, otherwise you're gay. But you should be at least bare minimum, paying for rent, paying for all the food, paying for water bills, looking after the people around you when they want to buy stuff, etc., 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 right? You should only really be looking after yourself after you look after these people. What I mean by that is you don't want to, so for example, right, this drip right now is Courtiers and then it's Hollister jeans. This together, so this was, I don't even know how much. This was together with the bottoms, it was 200 or something. And then the jeans are 80. So that's already 300. Right, and then t-shirt, yeah, so it's a £350 fit, which isn't that much, by the way, but I wouldn't buy this if my fiance was not taken care of. I wouldn't buy this if my mum knew that she didn't have to work. I wouldn't buy this if my sisters weren't able to buy their own stuff. You've got to, you really should be putting yourself, and Charlie Kirk used to say this, rest in peace, you really should be putting yourself behind them in terms of finances. All you need as a man, let's be completely real. As a man, you need a t-shirt, you need some shorts. Everything else is pretty much who cares, right? You need a t-shirt, you need some shorts, some pants. A lot of people don't even need a roof for their head. Okay, maybe that's exaggerating. But you could, as a guy, if you've got your brothers around you, you could just camp out at someone else's house for a couple of nights. They could camp out at yours, or you guys could rent a room. We don't really care about material stuff. Usually a lot of the material stuff we only buy for the girls or for your girlfriend, right? Or just after you built yourself up, it feels a little bit good to reward yourself. But we don't really need that, right? Whereas women, I think, do need that in a sense of, I'm not saying they need designer stuff, but they do really need to feel like they're being taken care of, and that includes financially, okay? So physically, financially. What is the next ones? Spiritually. This is extremely important, and this is especially in a relationship, whether it's with your girlfriend, fiance, wife. You need to look after her spiritually. Now, the obvious thing with this is to do with sex and stuff like that, right? You need to really guard her purity, right? Even if Because I know it's easy. The temptation is, oh yeah, but you know you're going to marry this girl, so it's okay. It's still not okay. It's still sin, right? I'm not saying it's the end. Like, if you are really close with this girl and you know you're actually going to marry her and you've been with her for a bit, like, it's not, I don't think it's quite as bad as just hooking up with someone, of course not. But like, it still is sin, right? At the end of the day, we can't just sit here and pretend and take out little parts and be like, oh yeah, but I know I'm going to marry this one. Yeah, okay, I'm not denying that. But you still should wait till marriage, right? And once you do, if you do fall into this, repent, right? That's the most important thing. And then guard her purity again, right? So look after her spiritually. And that also means not just guarding her purity and her innocence and her, like, this beautiful thing which women have, which I don't think men have, but it's like this key, like, innocence. It's like this beautiful, you just look into their eyes and it's just love. It's like peace, harmony. I don't know how to explain it, right? Men don't really have that. Like, I've never, I mean, maybe that's because I'm not gay, right? But I've never really looked into a guy's eyes and be like, oh, you know what I'm saying, right? It's different. But anyway, and apart from that, apart from just like sex and stuff, spiritually it also means like bringing her close to Jesus, making her understand that she can fall back on you, but she can also fall back on Jesus, right? And whenever she's like looking for guidance and I'm not there, right? Or I am there, but when maybe she doesn't want me to be there and maybe it's about me, go to Jesus, go to the Bible, you know, go to priests, go to church, go to confession, speak to the priest, speak to people, you know, who are in that holy life, right? Speak to Jesus, pray every single day, all of those sort of things. So bringing her close to Jesus as well, right? Obviously alongside yourself. Okay, so that's spiritually. So we got physically, financially, spiritually, and then emotionally. Okay, emotionally is something men don't talk about at all. And I didn't even really know this until the relationship which I'm in right now with my beautiful fiance, right? The best girl in the world. I didn't really realize how important this was. Okay, I thought like, oh yeah, well, of course you look after her physically. It's cool to look after her financially. I didn't even think about spiritually because I wasn't as close to Christ before her, right? Or I mean, I wasn't having sex before. You know what I mean? But like, anyway, right? That's personal. But what it does mean, right, is emotionally, it's such a big thing. So women, right, have completely different emotions to men, right? Women, like, this is why I hate when people categorize us together and they're like, people as a whole, because I think men and women are very, very different, right? Of course, there's a lot of similarities, of course, we're the same species, right? But there is huge differences, right? In many ways, we're almost like very, very different. So like, what this means is, as a guy, for example, if I feel a certain way, I might tell someone I'm fine, right? And they might be like, oh, okay, cool. And even if they know that I'm not fine, they don't really care too much. Like, that's just a harsh reality, right? And that's fine. I think that's normal as men, right? If I tell one of my boys, like, if one of my boys asks, oh, how are you? Or how have you been? And I'm like, oh, I'm fine. He probably knows when I've said I'm fine, that I've not been doing well, right? Or that things haven't been going as well, or that I'm struggling with some things mentally, or whatever it is. But he doesn't push on it too much, right? And I'm not blaming that friend. I'm not even saying it's a good idea to push. I think as men, sometimes overthinking can actually make things way worse, right? Whereas with a woman, it's completely different. Like, if your girlfriend said, oh, I'm fine, bro, you need to push on her. Don't just think, oh, well, I know she's not fine, but what else can I do? No. You need to try and help her, right? Because women's emotions are something you've got to guard. Like, as a man of Christ, you need to guard your women's emotions. You need to guard them, and you need to look after her, and you need to make her feel taken care of. You need to be the rock that she can fall back on at any time, right? And this brings me on to the next thing, which is, as men, okay, we go through struggle, of course, right? It's completely normal. We go through difficult times. By the way, I'm going to fill this up. We go through difficult times. We have our own problems. We have all of these things. But as men of Christ, we're called to serve, which means putting others first. So if I'm going through something bad, right? For example, if I'm going through something bad and my my fiance, is going through something bad, I am not going to be talking about how I feel, even once. Right? Or if I do, I'm going to regret it. I'm going to be like, okay, let me stop talking about myself. Why? Because I've got to make sure she's okay before I even open up anything. And again, I guess this is kind of depending on context and scenario and stuff. But in many scenarios, I don't even think it's a good idea to do that. I think as men, therapy is going to the gym, making a bunch of money, being close with your loved ones, definitely like spending time with your loved ones and speaking to them about certain stuff. But overall, I think as men, one of the worst things you can do to feel even worse, if you're already feeling bad, is start just talking about your problems loads. Like, I don't see how that's going to benefit. Again, maybe I'm completely wrong. I think you should have someone you're able to talk to, but I don't think all the time you should even speak to them. I think a lot of the time it's like, yeah, I'll be fine. And like, with people around you, you're not feeling fine, but they know that you're going to be fine. And you just pick up some weights, you start doing some push-ups, you go hit the gym, go for a run, go to church, bro. When I'm feeling down, like I'm literally doing that today because I'm feeling a little bit low, right? I'm going to church today. And once I finish in that beautiful church here in Slovakia, right, and it's a beautiful big, it's not a cathedral, but it's like a huge church. Once I finish that, I'm going to feel so much better because I can speak to Jesus. I can just sit there, right, and hold my rosary in my hand and just feel Jesus' presence. I can just sit there and just hold this and just pray, right? Praying is therapy for men. And prayer is therapy full stop, but like, especially for men, I don't think it's a good idea to always talk about everything, right? In fact, if you talk about too much stuff, like, because as men, we kind of build up a lot of things. If you start unraveling that, that's going to be a long ass time of just talking about your problems, which I don't really see how it's going to help, right? What is the other person going to say? Oh, it's going to be fine. You know, whereas women, it's different. You really need to protect her emotionally. You really need to make sure she's actually fine. And at least if she's not feeling 100%, she doesn't have to feel 100% all the time, but at least she knows that you're there and she feels better because you're there, right? That's the key. If you make zero difference on how she feels, that's probably not a good sign. You're probably not doing the right things, right? So like if let's say your girlfriend comes back and she has a long day at work, not work, right? I don't think women, right? Anyway, right, we're not going to go into politics, but anyway, all right, okay, so anyway, she comes back, I don't know, let's say your girlfriend's at uni or something. She comes back from uni, right, and you've just finished the work day, whatever. She needs to feel, like, if she doesn't feel happy to see you, and she doesn't feel relieved to see you, and she doesn't feel, oh, finally, and she just starts talking to you and just kind of like in words crashing out and just saying all the things that went wrong in her day, that's not a good sign. We love it. As men, we love it. Like, you know deep down you love that, right? Although sometimes we try and pretend like, oh, she yaps too much. No, she doesn't, bro. Like, I mean, if you really love your girlfriend, she has the most beautiful voice in the world. You want to listen to her yap for ages, right? For eternity. So, like, that's that. But B, like, she should be able to just talk to you. If she doesn't, they're going to bottle it up. Women are very different. Women, let's say, and this is from my experience, right? Let's say there's something going wrong in their life. It will build up in their life. And if they don't talk about it, it will have big negative consequences. Big negative consequences. Whereas as men, if we have a lot of things going on in our life, we will bottle it up, but we will then use that, all of that energy, all that anger, all that frustration, all that loneliness, like whatever you want to call it, and we will pour it into getting richer, making more money, right, which is getting richer, going to the gym, getting in better shape, getting close to Jesus, helping the people around us, right? Maybe, yeah, sure, taking a day or two to just really pray and reflect and stuff, but overall, we'll pour it into action. Whereas women won't pour it into action. Women will keep on doing what they're doing with their daily lives, which is fine. But that will always be in the back of their head. And it gets to a certain point where they're going to do negative things because of those things, right? Whether that's turning to vices like drugs, alcohol, smoking, whatever. Or whether it's just distancing themselves from you and distancing themselves from the world. The worst thing you can possibly do as a man, right? The worst feeling a woman can possibly feel is numbness, right? You don't want her to feel numb. That's the worst part. As long as she doesn't feel numb, at least she feels some emotion, right? And as men, I think sometimes we do feel numb, but I think that's okay. As women, I don't think it is. I don't think a woman should ever feel numb, right? And if she does, I think she needs to try and, or not even she, but the people around her need to try and get her out of that state ASAP because it's a dangerous place to be, right? So anyway, that's just to say, that's how I'd recommend it, right? So that's how I'd say, like, dealing with the stuff, and that's some of the differences I found, right? I'm going to make this because I'm hella peckish. So that's that, right? Now let's talk about, like, who are the people you should look after around you, right? So we got the obvious ones, right? And by the way, this includes all of these people, which is why, as a man, it is a big responsibility. Like, bro, as a man, it is it's a blessing and it's not a curse, but it's a blessing and it's very difficult. But that's what makes life beautiful, bro. If life was easy, I think it would be boring. Like, imagine you only had to make money for yourself. Like, you get past a certain point, let's say 3K a month, you don't really need to spend much on yourself. 3K a month, whatever. And you live in most countries pretty comfortably on that income, right? Especially if you're alone, like just yourself. Or like, let's say whatever, 5K a month, whatever. And then that's it. Like, bro, you're going to become bored quick. Like, you're just going to feel depressed, man. Because what more? Like, men want to feel like they're conquering stuff. Want to feel like we're always pushing forwards. And you're not going to feel that way if all you're doing is just being in a comfortable spot where it's pretty easy to provide for yourself. Okay, so let's talk about this. First of all, you have to be able to provide for yourself. Now, as I mentioned, that doesn't mean buying designer stuff, but if you can't even pay for your own rent, your own food, your own bills, your own life, well then how the heck are you expecting to help people around you financially, right? It's not going to work. So first of all, you're going to provide for yourself, right? That's number one. Number two, this isn't really in order. I guess it is in order, but the first couple won't be in order. It will just be overall. So like, you got to look after the partner that you're with, right? And the reason for that is because if you don't, there's something going wrong with the whole like dynamic of a relationship, right? So your girlfriend, wife, fiance. Now, if let's say you met this girl 2 days ago and you've been dating, by the way, how much percent of my phone on, boys? Let's hope this doesn't like just turn it off. We're in 12%. Oh, it didn't. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, let's say you met this girl 2 days ago. I'm not saying you now need to go out and buy her handbags and pay for her rent. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But if you've been in a relationship for, let's say, over like 2 months or whatever, right, or something like that, and like you actually feel like you really love this girl and you know you're going to marry her, you know, like I really believe men know when they're going to marry someone. I think you can delude yourself into knowing that, but I think deep down you know when it is going to work, right? And especially when you feel that from the other person as well. But like, let's say you've been with her for 2 months. I'd say after that point, you should really be trying to provide for her, right? So like paying for, let's say she lives alone, it could be rent, right? Or let's say, I don't know, she needs help with that rent, definitely like food and stuff, making sure that she feels taken care of, making sure that if, like, obviously it depends on what you want and what she wants, but if she doesn't want to take public transport, she doesn't have to, especially if she's in like a dangerous place, right? Making sure that you provide for her. Let's say you go out with her, you pay for restaurants, you pay for literally everything. You know, you buy her gifts. Let's say it's her birthday or it's Christmas, you can afford to do those sort of things. You can take her out, right? You can take her out on amazing dates. You can pay for her to go traveling. You can go traveling with her. All of those sort of things, right? So that's that. Then after that, you've got, well, not after that, but it's not, again, this isn't an exact order, but the first couple are just kind of the most important. They're not in an order. After that, it kind of is. But so after, like with that as well, then you've got your family, right? Your mum, your dad, your sisters, your brother. I think your brother is a debatable one because it's like, obviously he should be trying to provide for himself as well. But you should still be able to support him, and then it's up to you guys, obviously, what you want to decide. But definitely your mum, 100%. Your mum is probably like number one, right? Your mum is a big one. You need to be able to look after your mum, right? Or at least if, let's say, like, so like for my example, my mum, she loves what she does work-wise, but like she needs to feel, and this is the key, right? She needs to feel like if she doesn't want to do it or if she wants to lower her hours, she doesn't have to worry about the money side of things because I can provide for that. You know what I mean? Right, so at least being able to be in that position, even if your mom doesn't want to quit her job, right? So if she's like, I don't know, 50 years old and she really doesn't want to retire and she loves her job completely, then obviously I'm not saying you have to force her to retire. But you get what I'm saying, be able to support your mum, your dad. Why? Because those are the people who literally paid for your whole life and have looked after you your whole life and literally made you. You wouldn't be on this planet without them, right? And then after that, you got like your sisters, obviously as I mentioned, your brother. And then after that, you got like extended family, right? So that's your like love person. So whether it's your girlfriend or if you don't have one, whatever it is, right? And then you've got your close family, and then you've got your extended family. So this is stuff like aunties, uncles, grandma, grandpa, cousins, all of that sort of stuff. Again, I'm not saying you have to pay for everything in all of those people I mentioned, but they should be able to feel like if they have any financial difficulty, if they need any help, they can come to you, right? And you should also, like, let's say you go out with them, you should be able to provide for them, you should be able to look after them, give them spontaneous trips, all of that sort of stuff, right? Like, for example, one of my cousins from Slovakia, she really wants to go to London, right? It's always been a dream. A lot of people outside of the UK actually dream of going to London. Like, it's one of those places where a lot of people want to go to. I guess as English people don't appreciate it. I actually like London, to be fair, I can't lie. But anyway, I don't live there, by the way. I just go there loads. Like, literally 2-3 times a month. But that's that, right? So me being able to provide for her to be able to buy a flight and be able to, or book a flight and be able to go here and provide for her rent and etc. Obviously, she'll probably live with us, right? But you know what I'm saying? So like that's that, right? So the extended family. Then after that, so this is like, there's actually a graph. I'm not sure what it's called, but there's a graph of like needs or something. And it's about yourself. Then you got your close family and you got your extended family. And then you got your like friends / people that you know of. And then you got the people in need. Right, so after we've went for extended family, I'd say it could be your friends. But again, friends is actually different, I think, so I wouldn't even count that in yet. I guess it depends how close you are and stuff. But definitely, like, if you go out with them, you can provide for them, pay for them, etc. But it depends what sort of relationship it is. If it's another guy, it might be a bit, I don't know, it's just a bit odd paying for everything for another guy who's a friend. Like, but anyway, and then after that, right, you've got your like people in need. So, like, giving money to charity, going and actually helping people in need, homeless people. There's a lot of homeless people in the UK and basically in the world, like Slovakia. Today I saw, yesterday I saw 2 homeless people, which is really sad. Like all of that sort of stuff, people in less fortunate situations. And yeah, if you do those things, man, and that's financially, obviously, is all of those other spectrums which I mentioned, physically, emotionally, spiritually, etc. But if you can do those things, you're going to live a pretty fulfilling life. Like genuinely, I think as men of Christ, our goal and our purpose is to serve others, you know, and really like look after others. Like, let me read out scripture from the Bible, right? Let me find it. Where is it? It'll be inside my laptop. inside my laptop, bro. What am I saying? It'll be on my laptop. Like, you're gonna live a very fulfilling life if you can do those things. And again, it's not easy, bro, because even as a man, like, you've got your own problems, you've got your own stuff you want to worry about. But like, you've got to put others first in many ways, right? So let's find the scripture. Let me find it. And this is a scary scripture. This should remind you about why it's important to make a lot of money so that you can support the people around you. Here we go. 1 Timothy 5:8. Where is it? Anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. That is a scary scripture. One more time. Anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. So that reminds you, bro, you got to go out there and make some money, which is why I think it's good, actually. The reason I say it's good is because that's a hell of a lot of responsibility. And it's also scary. It is scary because it's like, if you're, like, that's a scripture that really reminds you, like, you've got to really work hard, right? But the reason why I think that's so good is because without working hard, man feels very depressed. Man feels bored. Man has nothing to conquer. Right? Like, that's just boring life. So the fact that you can always strive towards that, and the fact that that's not easy, like, it's not easy, bro. Like, it costs a lot of money to be able to look after yourself, let alone the people around you, let alone extend family, and etc. But if you then choose to listen to that and you don't strive towards that, it's a sin, right? And laziness is one of the 7 deadly sins. And it also says in the Bible, another one, which I really like, right? I don't think this is word for word, but it says, for if you know what to do and you do not do it, it is sin, or something like that. Bro, let me actually pull this up. Okay, as soon as I pull this up, I'm going to end this because it's been 23 minutes. Let's pull this bad boy up. Here we go. James 4:17. If anyone then knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is sin for them. If you know you should be working and instead you're scrolling on Instagram Reels, it is a sin. If you know you should be going to the gym, but instead you're watching random YouTube videos, that is a sin, right? Now, is it a sin to relax sometimes? And is it a sin to... No, it's not a sin to relax. But you relax on the 7th day, which means 6 days you work, right? And by the way, I'm not even saying like... I mean that literally, and I also mean it like symbolically, as in that's like 1/7, right? So let's say you work, I don't know, 10 hours a day, then sure you can have an hour and a half off, right? I guess, but like, why would you want that? You know what I'm saying? But like an hour and a half off, obviously it's different. Like there's different ways of relaxing. Like my way of relaxation, the best way is praying and just spending time with my loved ones and laughing and talking to my brother and talking to my sister and talking to my fiance and spending time with them and all of that sort of stuff. Right, but anyway, so these videos just remind you, like, this is what being a man is, and being a man of Christ, right? And it's very difficult. It really is. Like, I'm not sitting here saying it's easy. Like, it really isn't. Right, I'm gonna look you in the eye right now. I think I'm looking at the camera right now. Am I looking at the camera? I can't even see because as soon as I look at it, let me see if I can catch myself. Yeah. Okay, I'm being honest. Right, so yeah, like, genuinely. It is not easy, but it's beautiful, bro. It's the most beautiful gift. If you can feel that feeling of knowing that the people around you can rely on you and you're their rock, it makes everything worth it. It makes everything worth it. It makes literally everything worth it. You work extremely hard, you put in long hours, but then your fiance is like, thank you for providing for this life, right? Or thank you for looking after me. Bro, it makes everything worth it if it was 10 times harder. Right? You give money to your mum and you see her cry of gratefulness, of gratitude, saying like, we thank you so much. Like, you didn't have to. That is worth it if it was 1,000,000 times over. 1,000,000 times over. If it was 1,000,000 times harder, it's worth it. Right? You being able to look at your children once they grow up and then thanking you. Like, thank you for giving us this amazing life. Thank you for blessing us with these things, right? And I'm not even just talking about material stuff. I'm saying like, be able to be in a safe house, You know, being able to do the sports that they want to do. Because all of these things cost money, bro. Like, I heard Mayweather once say it. The interviewer was like, why is everything about money? And he was like, I'm going to put on my... No, I'm not actually going to do it. But anyway, he was like, why is everything money? He was like, why not? No, I'm joking. He didn't talk like that. But anyway, why not? Everything that you wear costs money, right? And it's true. Like, although we can try and act money isn't important, and I do agree the love of money is a sin, 100%. The love of money is a sin. But it's like, why do you want to make money? Okay, I want to make money to look after people around you. Well, then you don't love money. You love the people around you. Oh, I want to make money so that I can buy my girlfriend nice things and give her an amazing life. Okay, so you want to make money so that you can give your girlfriend an amazing life. That's love, right? It depends what you do it in. Do you do it in greed? Do you want to make money just because you want to buy a Rolex? Now, I'm not saying buying a Rolex in itself is a sin, right? But like, if you buy a Rolex before you even looked after your mum a little bit, what are you doing? Like, you've just spent 10K on a watch when your mum's just working, you haven't even given her like £500. Like, what is wrong with you, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's all about like the reason why you do it. But it is true, bro. Everything costs money, especially in the Western world. Like, maybe 20 years ago it was a lot easier, right? Or not 20, maybe 50, 60 years ago it was a lot easier. You'd work a normal job and you'd be able to live a pretty decent life. But now, no, bro. You work a normal job and you earn a minimum, you earn a normal wage, not even minimum, like an average normal wage. Bro, you're living in a minimal lifestyle. You have to like literally budget everything. You can't even you need to go to a supermarket and really look at the price of everything. Whereas today when I went, right, I bought all this stuff. I didn't even know how much it costs. I didn't even know. I know it's less than like 20 quid. So it's free, right? Obviously it's not actually, but you get my point. Like, I can just make that from sales. And that's why sales is such an amazing business model, but we're not going to go into that, right? Because once you're in sales and once you run a business, so we are going to go into it real quick. Once you do all these things, you're able to not have to pay for anything. If I want to buy my mum something, or I want to give my girlfriend, fiance, or give I was going to say my mum, I don't know why. Right, anyway, if I want to give my mum like an amazing trip and take her to flipping nicest country in the world so that she and my dad can have an amazing time there, right? And they can have like a honeymoon type thing. Because by the way, why am I saying all this? I was going to say their honeymoon wasn't really a honeymoon because they were not in a good financial situation when they got married, which is so beautiful, right? Because it's like, you don't get married just because of money. But you get what I'm saying? Anyway, like being able to do that, or being able to, for me, be able to travel the world, for me, be able to help people in need. I don't have to pay for any of these things. I didn't pay for this flipping pan of chocolate. This beautiful, I don't want to get crumbs everywhere. This beautiful blooming, okay, it looks crippled, bro. It looks, what the heck is wrong with this pan of chocolate? Bro, this looks delicious, but on camera it looks kind of stupid. Why does it look so weird? Anyway, I want to pay for this Bumberclat. Okay, this one looks aesthetic. I want to pay for this Bumberclat like chocolate twist. I ain't paying for that. Right, I want to pay for this beautiful accommodation. Should I give you guys a quick tour? All right, let's do a quick tour. You guys asked for it. I'm joking. I'm literally talking to myself. But look, we got a kitchen. We got a big table. Is there anything I couldn't show there? No, there isn't. We got a sofa, TV. You know what I'm saying? Right, it's a pretty big place actually. One of my clients is coming out tonight, and we're watching a football game together. We got a toilet, we got a shower, you know what I'm saying, that's one bathroom. And then if me and the boys go upstairs, you know what I mean? So look how big that is, right? And then look, there's a little mirror as well so you guys can see me recording. You walk up these blooming stairs, and then we carry on walking, boys. We've got another Bumberclat toilet. Lights turn on. Boom, Shakaloom. I went for a bath yesterday for the first time in like 4 years. No, probably more, 5 years. We got 2 beds, a little bit of I don't know if I'd call it a workspace. And then we got my bedroom, you know what I'm saying? Little workspace, double bed. You know how it is. You know how it flipping is. Then we got a mirror. You guys get to see how sexy I am. Good lighting as well. Okay, so anyway, right, that's the room, that's the house tour. This house was not bought, well, it's not, I haven't bought the house, but this place was not rented from my money. Okay, what do I mean by that? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? What I mean by that is, wow, this is a long talk, bro, 30 minutes. What I mean by that is, I didn't pay for this, one of my clients did, right? You give amazing services to people in return for their money, and then they pay for everything, right? And I'm not saying one specific person, but like you close a deal, let's say it's a high ticket deal, 1K, 2K USD, whatever, 3K, 5K, 10K, whatever. And that is gonna pay for the accommodation that you stay in. That's gonna pay for the food that you wanna have while you're on a trip, and it's gonna pay for the flights, and it's gonna pay for literally everything, right? So you literally, that's why I'm saying like, you know what I'm saying, Wolf of Wall Street type thing. Pick up the phone and start dialing. Does your girlfriend think you're a worthless piece of... Pick up the phone and start dialing. I want you to deal with your problems by becoming rich. It's because I watched part of Wolf of Wall Street yesterday. Anyway, okay, let me get back to the point, boys. That's it, right? That's a wrap. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Nice little house tour. But like genuinely, when you're in sales, you get to pay for everything. So the people that want help around you, or not want help, sorry, the people that you want to help around you, your girlfriend, your fiance, your wife, whatever she is, okay, that sounds hard. Your girlfriend, your fiance, your wife, etc. Okay, that sounds worse. Your girlfriend, your fiance, or your wife, comma, your mum, your dad, your siblings, your future kids, your extended family, your cousins, your auntie, your uncle, your grandparents, your grandma, everyone around you that you love and the people in need, everything that they want or everything that they need, right, that costs money, you ain't paying for. You just get more sales. You just pick up the phone, you start closing 2 deals a day. You close 2 deals a day for 2K USD, you're making 4K USD a day. You're going to be printing, right? You close 1 deal a day for 2K USD, you're making 2K USD. Now, obviously, I'm not saying everyone's going to pay up front the full amount, but you get my point. You're making good money, right? What do they say? And Always Be Closing, which is a banger sales film alongside Wolf of Wall Street. It's really, really top notch. They say, what is it? He says, all you got to do is get them to sign the dotted line, which is like the contract. Right, so in contract cash, you make that much, which means you're going to get paid that amount. It might just be split over certain payments or whatever it is, whatever the payment plan is. But anyway, boys, that's enough yapping. With that said, that's the end of this Road to Lamborghini episode 45. And yeah, look after the people around you, man. They're not going to be here forever. You're not going to be here forever. Look after them. Work your hardest. Always push forwards. Keep God number one, and you'll have an amazing life. So with that said, that's the end of this video. See you boys tomorrow.